I used to be a delinquent. Introverts like you should just follow me if you don't want to get in trouble. Shut up and give me some money. Nicole, the self-proclaimed former delinquent mom friend, always finds a way to get involved, despite looking down on working mom friends. She's the one demanding money in the end. She pretends like she never asked for money at all. I couldn't help but reveal my true self to Nicole. Finally, the time came for me to confront her. I'm Sally, 32 years old, and I'm raising 2 kids in kindergarten while working from home. I've tried to keep my interactions with kindergarten mom friends as unobtrusive as possible. To put it simply, I'm like someone who follows the group leader and stays on the sidelines. I've been quietly keeping a low profile because I don't want to get involved in any trouble. Even so, there are still cliques among the mom friends, and I was forcefully put into the current group. Well, maybe they chose me because I seemed like someone who wouldn't refuse if they asked forcefully enough. I've also been invited by mom friends from other cliques, but I've been discreetly declining those invitations because I didn't want to get caught up in any complications by showing favoritism. However, among the mom friends from the other cliques, there's one who's a bit of a nuisance. Hey, you were an introvert back in your school days, right? The one bothering me is Nicole, a mom friend from another clique. For some reason, she's been talking to me lately. I went to the same school as you. You were the quiet type who sat in the corner reading books to pass the time. It seems like you haven't changed even as a high school student. Nicole approached me. When I asked if she had something to say, Nicole seemed irritated by my attitude, which didn't care about her sarcasm. You're so cheeky for an introvert with glasses, she spat out these words and walked away. I wondered why I had to bother with her when it was clear she had come to be sarcastic rather than have a normal conversation. As I walked, I spotted an old friend. Hey, Maria, I called out to her. She looked puzzled at first, but when I introduced myself, she seemed to remember and showed a bright smile. I reunited with my old friend after 24 years. Maria had recently moved here, and her child would be attending the same kindergarten next year. We reminisced about the past and became friends who would stay in touch again. Old friends are indeed easygoing to be with. From then on, I tried to avoid getting involved with Nicole. However, Nicole frequently approached me. The reason behind it was because Nicole was alienated within her own clique. Other mom friends told me that Nicole had a habit of lying and had a bad reputation, so they kept their distance from her, especially when it came to their children. It seemed like Nicole approached me because she didn't want to be alone. The leader of that mom group is always bragging about being rich. She goes to a spa one day and eats at a famous restaurant the next. She's probably just spending her husband's money however she likes, yet she looks down on others. Doesn't that annoy you too? After dropping off our children at kindergarten, I always ended up caught by Nicole. I had to listen to her complaints every day. Is that so? It's actually quite enviable to have money you can spend freely, I responded. Nicole gave me a cold stare and said, "Stop being so stubborn. You always wear cheap clothes like a poor person, but your pride is high." Nicole laughed loudly. When I said, "I'll be leaving now?" Nicole replied, "You always put on this innocent face, but I wonder if you're actually up to something dangerous in secret. I'd like to see your true nature," muttering something behind me. Anyway, I didn't want to have anything to do with Nicole, so I had been walking to and from kindergarten. However, starting from the next week, I decided to drive instead. Whenever I saw Nicole, I would quickly get into my car and escape. As soon as Nicole was in sight, I quickly got into my car and drove away. During such days, it was unlikely to never get caught. Finally, one day, Nicole caught up with me. "You've been avoiding me, haven't you?" she complained, but I couldn't admit that I had been avoiding her, so I denied it. "Is that so? Well, it's fine then. By the way, is your husband wealthy? I heard he's the next president of the company." I felt irritated that Nicole had access to such personal information. "He's just a regular company employee," I replied. In reality, my husband is a company employee, but given that he will eventually inherit the family business and become the president, I wondered how she knew about it when I hadn't told anyone. One day, I was invited to a lunch gathering, and to my surprise, there was a different Nicole in the group. According to other mom friends, it seemed like she had switched cliques. "Sally, hi." Because of her overly familiar behavior, people assumed that Nicole and I were close. This assumption led others to feel reassured and accept the situation, thinking if we got along well, everything must be fine. Since I was forcibly included in the group and was only participating for the sake of my child, I never bothered to clarify that Nicole and I weren't close. However, this incident led to significant turmoil within the group. I got up to go to the restroom, and Nicole followed me. This group seems quite dull, doesn't it? The previous group had the president's wife as the leader of the mom group, and the other moms were wives of venture capitalists or employees of large companies. But the people here are mostly wives of regular employees or dual-income families. She immediately started to make sarcastic remarks. I can't believe some of them work part-time. It's the epitome of being poor. I've never worked a day in my life. Well, I thought to myself that she could always go back to her previous group if she had complaints. I let Nicole's comment slide. "Oh, wait a minute, I forgot my wallet. Can you lend me some money?" She had the audacity to say that. I'm not sure about lending money." I hesitated. "Are you trying to embarrass me? It's just $20. I'll pay you back tomorrow. Isn't that okay?" Nicole had an oddly condescending tone. I reluctantly handed her some money under the table before settling the bill. After that, Nicole started asking me for money regularly, but she always paid me back the next day, so I didn't mind and would give her some from my allowance. One day, when I went to pick up the kids from kindergarten, Nicole invited us to go have dessert. The kids were excited and eager to go, so I agreed. After calming down while eating dessert, Nicole finally spoke up. "By the way, I heard you started working recently," she said, catching me off guard. Only a few people knew that I had started working, so I couldn't help but wonder how she found out. I was surprised that my personal information might have been leaked. I mustered the courage to ask her where she had heard about both my husband's job and my current job. I just looked it up myself," she replied in a matter-of-fact tone. Regarding my husband's job, she'd apparently found his social media profiles. Although his name wasn't on his profile, many of his social media friends were from the same company, so she made an educated guess. She mentioned that she had researched the company name and confirmed that the CEO's last name matched mine. She said she did it to get me to tell her the truth. As for my job, she claimed she'd heard about it from the leader of the mom group. I had already informed the mom group leader about my work, anticipating that I might have to decline lunch meetings due to work commitments, so it seemed she already knew about it. She asked me various questions about what kind of work I was doing. When I mentioned that I worked from home, Nicole expressed interest in doing something similar and asked me to teach her how. I explained that even though it's remote work, I'm a freelancer who takes on various projects, so our skills might be different, and we have to find clients on our own. "Well, do you need any help? I can assist you at a low hourly rate," she said. I clarified that since I work on a contract basis with clients, I can't have someone help me. "Well, it's just pocket money for housewives, right? Is it some simple task? By the way, I tried doing piecework once, but the hourly rate was so low I quit. Anyway, good luck." She spoke dismissively and laughed as if she were looking down on me. As time passed, Nicole contacted me less and less, and she stopped approaching me altogether. I had walked with other mom friends once, so it seemed like I had found someone I could get along with. Recently, since I wasn't spending much time with Nicole, other mom friends started reaching out to me. However, it seems Nicole had been speaking ill of me behind my back. Well, such things happen among women, so I didn't pay too much attention to it. I hoped that our peaceful daily life could continue without any disturbances. However, it didn't last long. "Long time no see. It seems like work is going well for you. I heard you got a new car too. How about giving me $2,000, Nicole said as soon as we met at the kindergarten. I was taken aback by the amount, even compared to what she had asked for before, and I told her it was impossible. "Huh? Your husband is the next CEO and you're working too, so $2K is nothing, right?" "Heartless woman, give me the money," she demanded. If $2,000 was considered nothing, she could earn it herself by working. But what did she think of other people's hard-earned money anyway? "Lending such a large sum of money is impossible," I told her. "Huh? What are you saying? I'm not asking you to lend it to me. Do you think you can talk to me like that?" Nicole crossed her arms and laughed, as if she was mocking me, I looked puzzled, and Nicole said, I used to be a delinquent, you know. Introverts like you have no use for me. Anyway, there's no purpose for you. I'll find a meaningful use for you, so if you don't want to get in trouble, give me the money. Quietly, she said to me. When I questioned what she meant by meaningful use, Nicole retorted, That's none of your business. If there's a repayment plan and you're willing to sign a promissory note, then I might consider lending it to you. Nicole agreed and signed a promissory note while promising to repay within a week. When the 1-week deadline for repayment came, I contacted Nicole to remind her to pay back the money. Huh? What are you talking about? She pretended not to know. Well, there's a promissory note, and I think you can't avoid it, I conveyed. Nicole replied as if mocking me. Did you properly check the promissory note? Her reply came with a tone that seemed almost mocking. No matter how many times I checked the promissory note, I couldn't understand the meaning behind Nicole's words. I tried to talk to her directly to ask her, but Nicole was blatantly avoiding me. Even when I approached her during kindergarten-related matters, she would ignore me. Moreover, when I tried to talk to other mom friends, they also began to act distant. This continued for about 2 weeks. However, during this time, I was summoned by the leader of the mom group and told that I should step away from the group. Not that I had been deeply involved or that it had any real consequences for me, so being removed from the group wasn't a problem. However, if I had to say, I was worried it might affect the children, and my concern turned out to be correct. My child was crying because they couldn't go to the other children's home to play. When I asked for the reason, it turned out that it was because they had been told not to associate with us. I contacted Clara, one of the mom friends I still had some connection with in the group, and asked why such an exclusion was happening. Clara started speaking apologetically. According to her, Nicole had invited her to a family restaurant, and when she arrived, members other than me were present. Nicole claimed that she had heard I often complained about the mom friends in the group and that this had angered the leader of the mom group. According to Nicole, the leader had decided to remove anyone causing disturbances within the group. Hearing this, I was furious. I had never spoken ill of not only the mom friends within the group, but also the mom friends from other groups until now. When I told these mom friends that what Nicole had been saying was not true, I found it hard to believe that Sally was bad-mouthing others because of what Nicole had said. But everyone's opinions aligned, and it turned out like this. I'm sorry, she apologized, saying thanks to these mom friends. I realized that Nicole was trying to portray me as the villain and isolate me. Furthermore, after I left, it seemed that things became awkward within the group and there were frequent fights. Afterward, I went to talk to each mom friend in the group. Except for the leader of the mom group, everyone had heard bad things from Nicole, and the conversation went smoothly. We decided to call the mom group leader to a cafe. The mom group leader was surprised to see me instead of Nicole. But with the cooperation of the other mom friends, we could resolve the misunderstanding. It became clear that Nicole had been spreading false rumors and talking nonsense about each of us. All the mom friends were angry, and one of them started complaining about Nicole. I was surprised to hear the complaints, but it seems that Nicole had also borrowed money from the other mom friends. I also lent her tens of dollars during payments. She asked for $2,000 recently. When I mentioned this, other mom friends said they were also asked for loans. Well, I was the only one asked for $2,000, but it seems like she was demanding money from everyone. Some people, like me, have written promissory notes, while others have been contacted through messages. After considering various options, we decided to confront Nicole directly. 1 week later, we summoned Nicole to a family restaurant. What? Why is Sally here? Have you already reconciled? Seriously, women change their attitudes so quickly, don't they? Nicole said these words as soon as we met, and I had reached my limit. Besides, you would be the one changing your attitude quickly. I'm furious, not only because you've been spreading baseless rumors and bad-mouthing others, but also because we called you to resolve the issue of the money everyone has lent. When I said this, Nicole's expression changed. What are you all sharing that much? It's a violation of privacy, she exclaimed. I was angry. If you talk about violating privacy, what about you spreading baseless rumors about everyone? Isn't that a violation of privacy too? She replied, I'm fine with it, but you guys aren't, she conveniently said. Anyway, I told her to repay the money to everyone. Look, Examine the promissory note carefully. My full name is Nicole Clark, but on the promissory note, it says Nicole Clark, right? It's invalid. Mom friends were unsettled by Nicole's words, saying, "It's true, so we won't get the money back. What should we do?" Mom friends were confused. "We've been talking about it in messages, right? This can be evidence." One mom friend showed her mobile phone, and Nicole snatched it and deleted the messages. Amidst words like disgusting being thrown around, Nicole laughed and said, "You should think that you won't get your money back when you lend it, right? It's your fault for being ignorant. Don't go against me, a former delinquent, in a gathering of introverts. I'll even call my old friends." Nicole provocatively continued. Her words pushed my anger to its peak. "You're getting too full of yourself by staying quiet." My voice unintentionally raised, and I realized that my true self had emerged. I could feel the gazes of people around us. "Oh, I apologize, forgetting that we were in a family restaurant. I apologize to the people around us for raising my voice." Then I turned to Nicole. "You act all high and mighty talking about your past as a former delinquent. Aren't you embarrassed? Actually, you're not a former delinquent at all, are you?" In response to my words, "Huh? Don't underestimate me. I can call my old friends if you want," Nicole said. I challenged her to go ahead and call them. Nicole started making a call, but she couldn't reach anyone. "Maybe it's busy because it's lunchtime." She hurriedly made excuses. I was exasperated by Nicole's behavior. Bringing up such old stuff is embarrassing in itself, so I kept quiet. But don't you remember this? I took off my glasses and looked at Nicole, who turned pale. The other mom friends looked puzzled. "Oh, Sally? Is that you? Could it be from high school?" I stared at her in all seriousness, and Nicole started trembling uncontrollably. "By the way, Maria is also coming to this kindergarten from next year," I said with a smile, and Nicole started sweating profusely out of nervousness. "It's better to be kind now," I whispered softly. Nicole immediately changed her attitude. "I apologize for everything until now. I'm sorry. I think I need some time, but I'll return the money properly," she apologized to the other mom friends. "By the way, even if you change your name slightly, the promissory note doesn't become invalid, and erasing message history can be recovered." Upon hearing these words, Nicole said, "Yes, I'm sorry." She apologized again in a small voice. The mom friends, although shaken, seemed to accept it, and the situation was resolved. I didn't want to mention my past, but the truth is, I used to be in a delinquent group as well. Nicole was a junior in the same group. Back then, during that time, I had dyed hair, no eyebrows, and I looked nothing like the typical housewife I am now. Even Maria, my old friend, didn't recognize me, and she was part of that group. Back then, Maria and I were close friends. This was a past I wanted to hide from my child for a lifetime, and I really didn't want to talk about it. But with someone like Nicole, who wouldn't listen to reason, I thought it would be highly effective. However, I had only told the mom friends that these were acquaintances from the past. I'm sure they realized it was best not to inquire further. During the mom friends discussions, the idea of removing Nicole from the group came up, but I decided it would be better to keep her under close supervision. Nicole, on the other hand, seemed to insist on leaving the group, probably because she had caused so much trouble. However, I couldn't allow that. Afterward, Nicole repaid the money she had borrowed from the mom friends within a month. This was because Nicole's husband apologized and returned the money. He had learned of the situation, apologized, and repaid the borrowed money. By the way, it seems that Nicole's money was used for gambling. After all, Nicole had to take up a part-time job, something she had always looked down upon, and she complained about the hardships of her first ever job. Currently, she works 5 days a week and is desperately repaying the debts to her husband. Nicole's attitude towards those around her has changed as well. She no longer makes sarcastic remarks or looks down on others. It seems that experiencing her first job made her realize the challenges of balancing work and childcare. While no one gave a clear answer, they acknowledged that there had been various issues in different factions once the group began communicating. On the other hand, I started contacting mom friends I hadn't been very close to before. Instead of just attending lunch meetings and remaining silent, I decided to engage in conversation with mom friends. I realized that this was necessary to avoid misunderstandings, as demonstrated by this situation. Above all, what concerns me the most is ensuring that my child never finds out about my past. I have sworn to take that secret to my grave. Nowadays, the group divisions have become irrelevant, and while there are still differences in compatibility, everyone gets along. My work, family, and friendships are going well, and I've even made some new friends.